Our next speaker is Nicole Fox, who's going to speak to you about Nicole.
All right, yeah. Hi, can I just start off with thanking everyone that has come today? It means so much to me to see the huge crowd here that is backing me up today. And all the people that's standing at the side there, thanks so much for listening. If you can just bear with me for a bit now. I lost my daughter, Nicole Coco Fox, due to bullying online. Nicole was 21. I'm going to tell you a bit about Nicole and what she was like when she was younger. Nicole was funny, she was cheeky, she always came up with these little one-liners that make you laugh. She was friendly. We always had a mobile home down in Town, where we used to come down all the time with Nicole and my two sons. We spent many years down here on the beach. We brought them crab fishing, pier jumping, where Nicole learned how to jump off the pier without her armbands. And you know, she was such a happy, bubbly girl. She had no problems. She had a happy life, and I was so proud. Call my daughter. She just made me so proud of everything and who she was and what she was. As Nicole got older, everything was fine. She had a lot of friends down in Wexford. And as she got older, when she turned 17, that's when everything went wrong. Nicole used to go to a nightclub. She had this friend. But Nicole's bullying started off with two girls in particular. These two girls liked the boy that Nicole was hanging around with. And the only way to get closer to this boy was be friends with Nicole. Nicole thought these were her friends. Things were good at the start, and then when the boy had no interest in one of the girls that liked him, that's when things turned wrong. One of the girls went to England, and this girl in particular needed to gather up a crowd to get everyone turning against Nicole. They spread rumours about her. They never left her alone. Nicole had cigarette butts put out onto her feet. She was also dragged down a flight of stairs by the hair in the nightclub. Every time she put her drink on the table, they'd swipe it off and go, "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean that." When Nicole got up and danced on the dance floor, Nicole would have been my height, and these people were dancing beside her, pretending to dance, where they elbowed her in the face and in the chest. And if Nicole moved on one side of the floor, they'd follow her and do the same. Sorry. Nicole was coming out the toilet one day, and one of these girls pushed her so hard into the corner of the table they dislocated her hip. When Nicole went out, she only went out once a week, and I used to beg her and say, "Please, just stay in, just don't go out." And she goes, "Ma'am, you know, why can't I go out? Why can't I go out and enjoy myself?" Nicole just wanted to dance and sing and laugh. She wasn't allowed to do that. These people, one of them has admitted in a statement so far that the bullying started because we were jealous. Jealous of someone that didn't want attention, that just wanted to go out and dance and laugh and have fun. She'd done nothing to nobody. Before Nicole used to go out, two of these people that she thought were also her friends burnt her with a curling tongs and gave her a 6-inch scar on her arm. Every time Nicole went out, once a week, she would go up and put her makeup on and blare the music, and I'd be shouting, lower that music down, and and then she would go in. Now Nicole had no anxiety problems, she'd no health issues. She used to go into the bathroom then and throw up at the thought of going out. Then Nicole would come down the stairs and stand at the door and pose and have a big smile on her face, and she'd go, "Ma'am, take a picture." That was that mask Nicole used to put on, and she always said, "I'm not letting these get the better of me. These aren't going to get the better of me." So she put on a smiley face after throwing up a few minutes before. When Nicole would go out, she could probably last an hour, maybe 2 hours. I never went to bed. I always waited up to wait for that phone call. After an hour or maybe 2 hours, Nicole would ring. She'd go, "Quick, ma'am, quick, come and get me." Because these people kept going and going. These people weren't happy bullying my daughter physically by putting the cigarette butts out at her, or dislocating her hip, or pulling her down the stairs, or burning her with the curling tongs. These people moved to online bullying. Because Nicole went out with this smile on her face, they thought, "Oh, we're not getting at her." They did get at her. So they went to online bullying, and every day, even though Nicole never answered back to anything, every day they made up a group page on WhatsApp, and obviously Nicole wasn't invited into the group, where these people all joined in and said horrible, nasty rumours about her, horrible stuff to her. Online, they told her to go die, go hang yourself, everybody hates you, nobody wants you, go slit your wrists. They made up rumours of she did this and that, and Nicole didn't know about this until it was too late, until it was shared all over the internet. In 2015, Nicole had enough, and she took an overdose. And I thought that day was the worst day of our lives, but it wasn't. Nicole spent 4 days in hospital, and the doctor said to her, "Do you regret it didn't work? Or do you regret it?" And Nicole says, "Yeah, I do regret it. I regret it didn't work." After 4 days in hospital, I brought Nicole home, and down in that nightclub, she heard back that people were saying, "Oh, Nicole took an overdose because of me." And then the other girl go, "No, it wasn't, it was because of me." And she goes, "No, they were actually trying to," it was like claiming a trophy of who actually made Nicole take an overdose. From this bubbly, lively, funny, beautiful girl became a girl that wouldn't leave her room. She used to go to bed and cry herself to sleep. I used to lie in the bed with her and cry with her. And every day, she'd wake up feeling as sad as the night before when she went to bed. Nicole told me one day that, "Ma'am, I don't want to be here anymore. And the only reason why I can't kill myself is because I don't want to leave you heartbroken." And she held on for longer and longer so she wouldn't leave me heartbroken, where inside she was dying. She was dying a slow death because of these people that they just never let up. They also made a fake page called Saoirse, where they said they were going to beat her up so badly and put her on life support machine. Nicole, in her room, started to self-harm, where she got her nails and dug so hard into her legs and her belly and onto her face. Every day I tried to get Nicole out of bed, and we'd go to pray, or we'd go for a drive, or we'd go here and there just to try and get her out of her room. As I said, every night she cried. And every morning she woke up, she cried. On the 18th of January 2018, I left my house to bring my son to work, and then I went on around to the school to collect my other son. I left the house at 3:20, and I arrived home at 4:25. Myself and my 14-year-old son both walked into the house at the same time, and there in front of me was a stepladder, and for the first second I said, "What's that stepladder doing there?" And the second later, I see Nicole hanging from the banisters with the dog lead. I screamed at my son, "Please, just take her down." And then I screamed at him, "No, go and get help." And then I screamed again, "No, just take her down, take her down." I ran over to Nicole and I lifted her up to try and get the weight off her neck. My son, who is standing here today, that shouldn't have even witnessed anything like that. He took Nicole down, and as she came down, I didn't even feel any weight. I lay her down on the ground, and I started CPR on her. I called the ambulance, and while I did, I screamed from the bottom of my stomach all the way out, and I begged her, and I said, "Please, Nicole, please, don't go." I was rubbing her hair. When I came in, she was still warm, and I thought she was going to be okay, and I begged her to please hold on. I had the paramedics on loudspeaker while I was doing CPR on her. When the ambulance came, I was rushed into the sitting room, and they brought Nicole out to the kitchen where they worked on her. And I still believed that she was going to be okay. She wasn't there that long. She was still warm, and I thought, no, she's going to be okay. On the way to the hospital, Nicole took a massive heart attack where she died. She died for a few minutes, and then they brought her back and got a heartbeat going again. When we got to the hospital, she was rushed in where the doctors were working on her. And still in my head, I said, no, she's going to be okay, she's fine. The doctors were working on her, and then she was brought up to intensive care where she was put on a life support machine. Now, if you think back what I said, these people made a fake page and said, "We're going to put you on life support machine." These people got their wish. She was put on life support machine, and we were called into a room by the doctor, myself, my two sons, and Nicole's dad. I remember my son, who found Nicole, saying, "Is she going to be okay?" And the doctor just turned around and said, "No, she's going to die." Still didn't register that she wasn't coming home. I'm going to say, when Nicole's in intensive care, I don't even know what words to use. I'm going to say, because Nicole didn't die straight away, we were lucky to have time with her. Her heartbeat was still beating, but the doctor said to me that she has extensive brain damage and her organs are going to start shutting down. Still, I thought I was going to still bring my baby home. It just doesn't register that. She's never coming home again. We had 2 days in intensive care with Nicole, where my family and friends came up. And it wasn't just to see Nicole, it was to say goodbye. There, we were kissing, holding her hand, rubbing her hair. Nicole used to say to me, Nicole used to love McDonald's. She'd eat McDonald's every day. You let her, you give her chips and chicken nuggets, and that's all she ate. And she used to call me Jackers sometimes. And sometimes she would text me upstairs and she'd go, yup jackers, are we going to Macca's? And I used to keep saying to her, no, you're not eating that rubbish, I'm sick of eating that rubbish, but, you know, half an hour later I'd be sitting in McDonald's with her. And while Nicole was lying in the bed, with the tube coming out of her mouth, breathing for her, with her organs slowly shutting down, I put her phone on her belly, and I said, please Nicole, open your eyes and just say, yup jackers, are we going to Macca's? I stayed in the hospital, we stayed awake all day and all night for the 2 days, and then Nicole's heart went all erratic, her blood pressure went everywhere, and I knew I'd only minutes with her. In our last final minutes, I sat on the bed with her and I bent over and I kissed her. And I said to her, you can let go now, Nicole. Just let go. And I said, nobody is ever gonna hurt you again. I said, I love you, Nicole. Every night, I always say, night, night, Cole, I love you. And she'd always say, night, Ma'am, I love you too. And when I told her to let go, that no one was going to hurt her again, and I told her I loved her, I still waited for her to wake up and say, I love you too, Ma'am. Nicole died on the 20th of January at 5:26 in the morning. And you know, I still didn't actually believe that she wasn't coming home. After a day or two or something, the guards came to me and said that what these people did on her wasn't a criminal offence. To tell someone to go die, go hang yourself, slit your wrist, drink bleach, everyone hates you, everyone wants you dead. That's not a crime. That's not a criminal offence on lying. So there was 2 things I could have done. One of them I strongly thought about doing, and that was go with Nicole. Or the other thing was to fight and change this to make it an online criminal offence. On many occasions after that, I still thought about going to see Nicole. I had my boys and my family here, I was here, and Nicole was out there, and it wasn't right. I needed her to be with me. After a couple of weeks or so, I got onto a TD. I went into the Dáil and asked about setting up a law to bring online bullying, or to make online bullying a criminal offence. Nobody was listening to me. I set up a protest outside Leinster House, and we got a lot of people there, and still nobody in the government was listening to me. Then we had a march through Dublin where everyone brought a single balloon for Nicole in memory of her, and still nobody was listening. But as I said, there was 2 ways I was going. Go with Nicole or go into fighting mode. And it was the only way I knew how to survive. I kept going and going with meetings in the Dáil until one day I got a meeting in the AV room where ministers or TDs will show up. I did a presentation video behind me on Nicole, and I was hoping someone would turn up. They said maybe 1 TD would turn up, or 2 or 3, nobody knows. Lucky enough that day, a load of TDs came from all different various parties, and that's when it changed around. One of them stood up and said, instead of doing this law, you know, in different parties, can we all work together and get Coco's law passed? Well, get a law passed. I wasn't happy with that because I needed it named after Nicole. It's never going to bring Nicole back. I'm never going to see her smile again. I'm never going to hear her laugh again. I'm never going to hear her go to McDonald's again. but at least they agreed to call the law Coco's Law. It's her own legacy. It's a huge legacy for her, but it's not going to change my life the way we're left behind. The reason why her name is Nicole, the reason why we called her Coco was when Nicole was born, my 9-month-old nephew could never say Nicole. He could only say Coco, and that's where her name stuck. So that's why I decided to call it Coco's Law. I'm at a blank, sorry. I kept fighting and fighting until one day a TD put me in the right direction to a Wexford man, Brendan Howland. Myself and my friend went into a meeting to Brendan Howland, and I think I crushed him in there. He took me on straight away. He had a law already half set up, and I asked him to call this law Coco's Law, and he sent me an email back, and they agreed to it. Unfortunately, we were going great on the law. I have the draft at home. It's all drafted up. We have everything ready. It got it past stage 1, then it went down to stage 2 and it passed, and then it went down to stage 3. The stage 3 is where I wanted, because that was the Justice of Equality Committee, and they're the ones that passed the law. Everything was going great, and there was meetings called, and people were joined together. As I said, they did the draft up, but then this government broke up, and when the government breaks up, the law is any legislations that are in place are disbanded and back to square one. So all the hard work that we did went back to phase 1. The government, as you know, couldn't make up their minds. They didn't know whether they were coming or going. They didn't know their arse and their elbow. They hadn't got a clue what they were doing. We waited months again for this government to come in. And then coronavirus, I know, hit as well, and that knocked it back as well. Now what we're doing is trying to get it back up to stage 3. But because we have all the groundwork done, it should go back up to stage 3 fairly quick. But again, they're still messing around. TD's coming and going. They still don't have a clue what they're doing. So we need to wait until the government is back into action before this will go back up to stage 3. Am I happy with stage 3 now? No, I'm not happy at all. I want it out of stage 3. And once it gets out of stage 3, it'll fly up. It'll fly up then. But we need to get it out of stage 3. Now at the moment, I have a page called Let's Bring in Coco's Law on Facebook. And any of you that are standing here now, if you have internet, please do it now. Go on to Let's Bring in Coco's Law on Facebook, or when you go home, and please follow and share and keep this going, because this didn't only happen to my daughter, or it didn't only happen to Kaylee or Mia. This can happen to anyone, no matter who you are or what you do. This can go on anyone's doorstep. And if it's not happening to your kids, it can go on to your grandkids. Technology is getting so advanced, I can't keep up with it. You know, no one can keep up with it. And there's all these Snapchat and WhatsApp and anonymous pages, you know, and people that you don't are saying horrible, nasty stuff to people, and you don't even know where it's coming from. We need to get this law in. We need to get it out of stage 3 and get this law moving. As I said, this isn't going to benefit me. When this law comes in, I'm still going to go home without Nicole. I'm still never going to see her smile or call my name or laugh or those hugs that she used to give. I don't have to do this. I don't have to do this at all. I'm doing it for the rest of you. So nobody else will feel the pain that myself, Mary, or Ashlyn, or many others are going. I want to ask us a question. How many more ropes do we have to cut down off our children's necks due to cyberbullying? How many more of our loved ones do we have to watch being dragged out of a lake or a river due to cyberbullying? How many more of our loved ones have to get pumped out, their stomachs pumped out because of the overdose they took due to cyberbullying? How many more people have to take that final last step off a bridge because they can't see past another day due to cyberbullying? It's not alright to go on to the internet and tear strips off anyone, to bring a bubbly, lively person down to nothing, to knock their confidence, to drag them down so much that they can't see past another day. It's not okay to do that. It'll never be okay. And that's why we need to bring in Coco's Law. It's not all Coco's Law, it's not only going to be cyberbullying. There's about 6 or 7 other laws in that. All about the internet and what can happen on the internet. There's a lot more than it's not just about cyberbullying. I have a petition on the Let's Bring in Coco's Law. I have a petition where we need 20,000 signatures for these people in the government to raise the topic again about Coco's Law. So far, we have over 32,000 signatures. That's brilliant, that's fantastic, but the more we have, the better. And the more of you people that we have, the better. To share everything, to get it out there, to talk about it, to let everyone know. I've been doing talks in schools and colleges, trying to get out there, but it's killing me. It's killing me reliving this every day, telling about what happened to Nicole. But it has to be done. Do you know, as I said, it's not going to change my life, but it will change other people's lives. So please, I'm just asking you, please go on to Facebook and look up Let's Bring in Coco's Law and share as much as you can. Go on to petition. It'll take 2 minutes of your life to go on to petition and put your name. Also, if you go on to the March for Justice Ireland that came on board with me, that have been fantastic. There was a time when I felt like giving up because the government kept knocking me back and setting me back, and I felt so defeated at times until March for Justice came along and pulled me back out of this. And ever since then, they've backed me up 100%, 100%. They've pulled me up out of that pit again, that dark space where, in a blink of an eye, you know, where I could have went with the goal. So please, I know now, I'll continue to fight, no matter what, to my last breath. I'll continue to fight with March for Justice and all the people that came out here today and all the followers I have on Let's Bring in Coco's Law page. And I know the people listening here as well is going to get on it, so please, please support it. And I just thank you everyone that came today. It just means so much. Thank you.